this week's Cruise Chat. I'm Kathleen Penner, owner of Plenty of Sunshine Travel, and today I'm joined by Patrick. And Patrick is from MSC, and I am super excited to meet with Patrick. We were just talking a few minutes ago before we got started. This is the first time I brought MSC over to our Cruise Chats, so I'm really excited to learn about the brand, and I hope you guys are too. So follow along with us, and we're going to learn together.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Kathleen. Really appreciate you having me. Yeah, MSC is kind of I don't want to say new waters in North America. We've been around for a while now, but we're starting to get a little bit more present in the North American market in particular. So so yes, I'm very grateful that you're giving me the opportunity to chat with your clients today and give a little bit of illumination as to what MSC is all about, where we come from, a little bit of that history, feel good stuff, and what we have on the horizon as well. So yeah, without further ado, let's see if I can share my screen here.
Wonderful.
Boom. All right, can you see that all right?
I see it. Beautiful.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Well, again, yeah, thank you so much for having me today. I really do appreciate it. Now, again, because we're not top of mind in the North American market, again, I just want to give a little bit of history. It's not going to be quite so much nuts and bolts, and this is, you know, the size of our ships. This is the amount of ships we have. There's a little bit of that, but I'm going to kind of focus a little bit more on the just illuminating on the history as
and
well
how the brand started and how it evolved. And great, yeah,
exactly.
Awesome.
So without further ado, we got a couple of slides here, so we'll get on through here. So we were founded in 1970 by Gianluigi Aponti, and we're actually headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland. A lot of people think of us as an Italian company. We have Italian roots, Italian based. However, our head office is indeed in Geneva, Switzerland, and has been since actually 1978.
Wow.
So quite a while now. Yeah, and we are actually the world's largest privately owned cruise line. And we are sitting at, I think, currently number 3, kind of float between 3 and 4 as far as market share globally throughout the entire world.
Oh, that's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll show you some numbers coming up here just to show where we are and what our projections are for the future as well here. But to give some context of scale, we employ more than 70,000 people across 155 locations globally. And we have a consolidated revenue of about $25 billion. Oh,
goodness.
So not to swagger around too much or anything, but when your clients are booking with MSC, you know they're not with a company that's going to be you know, declaring bankruptcy or going under anytime soon. As you can see on the bottom of the screen here, not sure if you can see my mouse guiding you along.
Yes, I can.
Those are the companies that is actually owned by the MSC group of companies here. So we have, of course, MSC Cruises is this one right here.
Yes.
We are mainly backed, though, by our juggernaut company, I'll say, which is MSC Shipping, which is, we have, I think it's, what is it? I'm trying to find the number here. Several million containers across the world. I can't find the exact number that we have here. But to give you an idea of scale, some of these containers can hold up to 30,000 compact cars, and we're shipping those all over the world. So it's we have quite a bit of backing when it comes to innovation and putting out new ships, which I'll tease in a few minutes here. We also have our MSC Foundation, which is our way to give back to the ocean. Essentially, you know, we are children of the ocean. By we, I mean MSC. We have quite a relationship with the sea, so we've taken this initiative to create the foundation in order to give back and do some restorations throughout the world, restoring some global reefs, cleaning up a lot of the areas in which we travel to, even diverting our itineraries for things like whale migration patterns. It came to our attention that one of our itineraries was actually in direct line with this very prominent whale migration pattern in the Mediterranean. And so immediately then and there, we did not say okay, you know, in 60 days we're going to change it or anything. It was the next itinerary from there on. We diverted that itinerary to give those whales enough space to be able to do their thing.
Yeah, that's fabulous, because that's so important, right? Is to keep the ecosystem the way it's supposed to be and not to interfere with that, but to watch it and to enjoy it.
Exactly. You know, we're sharing their space essentially. We're on top of it, but we want to make sure that you know, everyone down below is having a good time as well, or at least as much as possible there. So yes, needless to say, you're in good hands when it comes to a financial decision if you're going to book with MSC Cruises. Now, as you can see here, just again, I said I wasn't going to talk too much about numbers, but I thought I'd put this as an idea as to where we're headed as far as what we're projecting.
Well,
as
it's
far as
graphic numbers, so it's different than just calling out numbers. There you
exactly.
go.
I'm not sitting here, just rhyming it out.
Yeah.
But and a couple little snippets at the bottom here as well. So we have an unprecedented $13.6 billion investment to build 17 new ships by 2027. Now that's phase 2 of our plan that you can see there from 2017 to 2027, which we are already well underway of. Now our next generation of megaship fleet will welcome 5.5 million guests by 2027. So we've seen quite a bit of growth and are continuing to see that. Just once guests get on board, they really start to see the diversity of the product. It's a little bit different than your typical North American cruise. Especially for North Americans. In Mediterranean, we're well known. We're the established number one. It's what it's what the benchmark is when it comes to cruising in the Mediterranean. But for the North American experience, it is slightly different. I think it's only 3 different languages that I heard on the last one. I know there's some people say there's 6, some people say there's 1, but it is in and around the 3 to 4 language mark. But on board, you get to meet people from other parts of the world. It just creates a whole kind of eclectic experience.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I love to cruise is to meet new people and to learn about other cultures and other things. And it doesn't necessarily always have to be, where we're going, but the people that are on the ship, you can learn from them as well. So that's wonderful that you have that diversity. We
really do promote it and cherish it. It is very close to our hearts as far as the inclusivity of the cruising world. It's the way I put it is picking your favorite cruise line is like picking your favorite ice cream flavor. Some people are like, they're vanilla all the way. I like chocolate, can't tell me otherwise. A lot of people like to sample different kinds. I would call MSC cruising the gelato in the MSC or in the ice cream war, just because we are that little bit of difference, and we taste pretty good. So anyways, I won't get too off on tangents on my little anecdotes here. But one last little fact here, we did not offload any ships during the pandemic as well, just to go back to our financial strengths in being able to keep all of our assets and not have to do any panic selling or anything like that. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Because it's backed by such a large company. You had that financial backing, and that's wonderful that you could keep all of your ships. Exactly. And we don't have shareholders to be accountable for. It's the family. The Aponte family owns it. They are the entire family is involved in the operation, from grandparents to grandkids. They're all in and amongst the day-to-day operations and everything. So and one little thing also just to mention is I noticed you didn't put on there the new Explorer that's coming out. It's the luxury division of MSC. And kind of funny, when I met with Amy Price and we were talking, and she's like, well, we're going to be on time because we're backed by a shipping company. And if we can't get all of our stuff to it, it's pretty bad. So it's just great that you have that backing. Just also say, that backing is just so important. 100%. It's especially in this industry where people expect newer, bigger, more things coming out, and not even with the ships that are coming out, but the dry docks that have to occur as well. Then those cost quite a bit of money as well. So it's nice to have that little bit of extra comfort for sure. Yes. This is just a little snippet here just to show where we are on the timeline as far as our ships. With our first couple of ships here, we acquired 2 of them that were already built, and then 2 of them that were halfway done being built. And then our first one that we had purpose built purely for MSC was the MSC Musica that we have right in here in 2006. But as you can see here, we've been growing pretty much year over year, almost 1 ship a year, with the exception of this little 4-year gap. And then which began our phase 2 that I was talking about before, where we really kicked it off with a bang, introducing 2 more types of ships, not even just 2 of the same class. The Meraviglia class and the Seaside class are 2 different structures altogether when it comes to our cruising experiences. So it's and then continuing on, took a break in 2020 for obvious or not so obvious reasons. Everybody did. You just skip over that year, please. Absolutely. Just skipping. Let's look at 2021, which again, but you made up for it. You did 2 in 21. We did 2 and 21 there, as well as we're doing 2 and 22 as well. So we
Okay.
are continuing right along with our plans to keep growing, keep going. We'll touch on these three ships here. I got a little bit of information on them just because we're very excited about it. We have
Yeah.
the MSC World Europa and the MSC Seascape that are coming out later this year. Both of them debuting in November, with sailing starting in November. Oh, sorry,
Mhm.
December. That
Okay.
we're very, very excited about.
Mhm.
And then we have the MSC Europa coming out for the summer season of next year as well. And
Mhm.
then from 2024 to 2027, we have 3 of our world-class vessels, which is what the MSC World Europa is. It's one of
Mhm.
our world-class ships.
World class. Okay.
The first of its kind. I know it's kind of a cute name, right?
It
World-class.
is.
Kind of like a
I like
hey,
all the names of the ships, actually. They're all so interesting. Like that's cool.
funny little story about that as well,
Names.
especially for the North Americans. When I first started here, I
Mhm.
called it the MSC Fantasia.
Mhm.
And my boss, I thought he was going to do a backflip in his chair. He said, "No, no, it's not the Fantasia. Oh, Walt Disney's poisoned you. It's the Fantasia."
Oh, okay.
Everything on here has that little bit of an Italian kind of
Mhm.
flair to it. So it's not lyrica, it's lyrica. It's
Mm.
not opera, it's opera or opera. You have to put that
Okay.
little to a
Yeah,
lot of them
you
as
got to get
well.
that good roll. Good thing I'm German.
Yeah.
I can pull that one off.
There you go. That'll
Yeah.
definitely help. Musica, it's musica.
Mm.
Orche orchestra, orchestra. So each one of these have their own little
Just a
kind of,
little accent in them.
it's just
Cool.
that little bit of Italian accent on there that,
Love
again,
it.
is part of the MSC brand and MSC experience.
Hmm.
But just
Amazing.
to show where we are in the global swing of things, in the
Mhm.
Caribbean Antilles, we have all year round cruising, as well as we have our own private island, the MSC Ocean Key,
Mhm.
which we are very, very proud of.
Mhm.
Beautiful little destination. It's still in the process of growing up, but we have, I think it was 70,000 different types of plants that we imported onto the island and essentially rescued this island. It was an industrial dump, essentially, where
Mhm.
we had to clear out, I think it was 7,000 tons of waste that we had to remove from there. Everything from like tires, scrap metal, just uh,
Oh,
not good
that's
stuff
unfortunate.
for the
Yeah, and that's in Bahamas, correct?
Correct. It's in the
Yes.
Bahamas.
Mhm.
And what else did we do there? We have a reef restoration program as part of the MSC Foundation that is helping to repair a lot of that wildlife that's within that region as
I
well. So
love that. Yeah, that's
yeah,
great. Yeah.
it's absolutely beautiful. I
Mhm.
was just there at the beginning of August, and it's coming along very, very nicely. And we're continuing to expand upon that as well. We have some plans that I'm not allowed to talk about, mainly
Mhm.
because I don't know enough about it, really. I don't want to look
Mhm.
silly, and so but
You
there
don't
are
want to
some
spill the
big
beans yet. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. There's a little teaser to invite me back for the next
There
time.
you go. Yeah.
Perfect.
Amazing. Yeah. Perfect.
And moving right along, we are, as I was mentioning before, #1 cruise line in Mediterranean as well
Mhm.
as South America. In Northern Europe, we have extensive operations during the summer season with some beautiful itineraries. I'll show you one of those with our MSC Europa coming up here.
Okay.
As well, in United States and Canada, I was mentioning we're getting a little bit more aggressive when it comes to this
Mhm.
market. We're going to be dedicating some more ships to it. We're going to be introducing some other itineraries. Again, I can't really spill too many beans over it.
Yeah.
Just know that some
It's
new things are
coming.
coming, and we are very, very excited about those. As well, we are #1 in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, the Red Sea, as well as South Africa.
Great.
We're all over. We're world
Yeah,
travelers,
you're worldwide. Amazing.
right? Right. So I just want to talk about this for a couple of minutes here.
Mhm.
The fact how dedicated we are to the Canadian market. So MSC Cruises is the only large cruise line with a dedicated Canadian office. So it
Mhm.
means we report directly to head office in Geneva. We do communicate with the US. You know, we play nice. We're all part of the same team, but
Yes.
we don't. We do our own marketing, our own efforts, our own call center. It's all
Mhm.
located in Canada here. And
Yeah, which is great for the Canadian economy and it gives jobs and that's fabulous. Yeah.
absolutely, and
And I
you know,
believe it's near the Toronto airport. Am I correct? It's in
you're
Mississauga
correct.
area. Yeah. Okay.
Yep, yep. You can see in this image here, this is Pearson International Airport right here.
So it is really
Um,
close. Yep.
yep, yep. So we this was within the legal limit apparently of drone operation. We were told,
Mhm.
so it's we're just barely okay with that. But if you're traveling along the 427 here and you see this large coppery pink building,
Mhm.
that's where MSC Cruises as well as MSC Shipping Canada
Okay.
is located. So just to show, like, we recognize Canadians as our own standalone market. We are a different breed than our counterparts and fellows in the USA, in that, say, it's a lot more difficult for a lot of Canadians to get to the port via car, right? Where a good chunk of the US, I don't want to say, like, obviously there's places where you definitely need to fly into, but there is a lot of the North American brands get a lot of their business from people who, say, live in Florida.
Yes.
Whereas people in the greater Toronto area, we might drive to Muskoka. People might have a cottage. That's their vacation. Whereas a lot of people in the States, in Texas, Louisiana, Florida, their ideas of vacation are just driving to the cruise port, going on a cruise, and that's their vacation.
Yes.
They don't have to worry about the flying or the airports and the commitment, I guess you could say, of getting to the cruise itself. It's a little bit different. So we recognize that and have some neat ways to get around that as well, which I'll touch on in a little while here.
Yeah. On that, it was funny. I was talking with some people on a cruise I was on, and it went out of New Jersey, and there were 6 of us at the table, and we were all, where are you from? And we're from Canada, and the other people were from California, and then the other guy's like, we're about 5 minutes from the cruise port, right in New Jersey. So he's like, we're like the closest people here. So,
right.
So yeah, so they just, oh, it was on a whim. I saw the ship, so let's just go out tomorrow, kind of thing. And they look and see if there's availability, and away they go.
Right.
So,
and that's just a completely foreign concept to the Canadian traveler. It's just like, there's not too much of an opportunity of that outside of maybe Vancouver, if you're going on an Alaska cruise or maybe even a Hawaii cruise. It's just a different beast altogether, the Canadian travel game. So we're trying to combat that a little bit.
Yeah.
So just to show a little bit of
your head office is there, because you're right. Canadians think and do things differently than the other people in the United States.
Very much so. And we took the efforts to actually purpose build this our main office here.
Yes.
And just showing a couple of pictures as to just like the before and after as to what we made this little nook into our home here. Of course, a beautiful front entryway as well there. We really did take our time in creating this office. Sorry, I don't think I mentioned, we opened the Canadian office in May of 2019.
Okay.
And then, of course, within the year, the C word came about and kind of put everything on a little bit of a hold, and we kind of had to play some defense along with pretty much everyone else as far as tourism goes throughout the world here.
Yes.
But now that we're back on track, we're starting to make some bigger plans. We have some other things coming along, like that little Tees flying cruise. I'll touch on that in a minute here.
Yes.
But going back to the office, we are, of course, all TICO certified, bilingual, and even multilingual. We all have extensive backgrounds in travel. Our manager prides himself in the way he selects his team. He makes sure that people know what travel is. He knows like people who have lived in different areas. I lived in Scotland for a year. We have people in our office who are from Belgium, people from France, people from Tunisia.
Well traveled, definitely.
Absolutely. So we're people who do understand the travel game and can really kind of empathize with the travel experience, because once you get bit by the travel bug, it's hard to go to anything else. So, absolutely indeed. So where are we today? What we have going on in the world and the market. Again, this is just a little snippet of our phase 2 here. Here is our new classes that we have here: the Meraviglia, the Meraviglia Plus, as well as Seaside, Seaside Evo, and our World Class here that we have. And I really want to bring it to the attention as well, with our World Class vessels. All of these are going to be powered by light natural gas, LNG, of course, one of the cleanest marine fuels you can possibly use. And we're not only looking at, these are ships that were purpose-built, they were purpose-built, but they were built with the technology and the availability of the time in which they were ordered. So right now, we're planning for things like, how can we make this even cleaner? We're looking at different solar types of power. We're looking at forms of wind power that we're able to harness. Just different ways that we're able to really just be innovators when it comes to putting the cleanest vessels that we can at sea here. So
it's super important to protect the areas you travel. You want them to be better for you being there, not worse. So that's wonderful that you guys are doing that.
Absolutely. It's something we take a lot of pride in, is our green initiatives, and we've actually won Dolphin Wise awards just because of our the waste to person ratio that we have in the water there. It's extremely low. So we're quite proud of those initiatives there.
Great.
So I'll tease here a little bit some of these newer ships that we have coming out here. The first, the one that I'm probably most excited about, only because it is so unique and so new and so different. You can see that kind of slope design up at the front there. This is our MSC World Europa, the first of the world-class vessels that we have coming up here, and I think it's really going to redefine the contemporary cruise experience. To give you an idea of scale, this will house 6,774 guests.
Wow.
And as mentioned previously, light natural gas fuel, boasting a beautiful Y-shape aft. You can see it down there as well. We have this 11-story slide that's, or 11-deck slide rather, that's coming down into the main, into this atrium down here as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very, very excited about this.
I don't want to throw you for a loop if you don't know the answer. I'm sorry, but how much staff is on there for that 6,000 guests?
Ooh, it's about a.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
think
throw.
It's a one, about it's in and around a 1-to-6 ratio.
Okay.
So that'll probably be in the two. I want to say close to probably 2,000, 1,800 to 2,000 guests. That's my my percentage guess on that.
Yeah, I was just curious. I'm
my
sorry.
Previous stats. No, it's all good. It's all good. And 65% of the ships, the cabins on board are balcony as well.
Oh, good.
Now, do keep in mind though, inside this atrium right here, you can see these are classified as balcony cabins. So if you do want an outside facing one, then just
make sure I book you those. Absolutely.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. Because we've had people in the past who are just looking for the cheapest balcony they could possibly get, ignoring some of the
yeah, that's the problem when you're booking alone, right? You need that travel advisor who's experienced to say, yes, it's a balcony, but your view isn't quite going to be the same as looking out into the ocean.
Exactly, exactly. So having a trusted travel advisor like you, Kathleen, is absolutely paramount to ensure that you're going to get the best possible experience out of your travel investment here. So some of the itineraries that we have to start out with this World Europa. These are just some of the 7-8 itineraries that we have. Well, with the exception of the Grand Voyage. We have that. We have a couple of those. You can. Another good thing about MSC is with our Mediterranean, especially, you can do a lot of open jaw, which means that you don't necessarily, if you're flying into Rome, you don't have to end in Rome. You can kind of tailor it to your own experience. So if you want to say,
which I really like, because then you can go a couple days early. Say if you're starting in Rome, a couple days early, explore Rome. But if you're ending in, let's just look in Dubai, I'm just going to grab that one, then you can stay there and explore that area too. So you get to see a lot more cultures by adding pre and post, plus all of the exciting things you see on the cruise. So I like it when they end and start in different spots.
100%. And again, I'll continue to pump your tires. Having a trusted travel advisor as well to coordinate that pre and post trip opportunity. You're the travel experts. You know those good spots, and you know where to stay, what to do, where to see. So ensuring that you do book with a travel advisor such as yourself is very, very important. So absolutely want to stress that. 100%. Okay, moving right along here. MSC Seascape is another ship that I'm very, very excited about. I sailed on the sister ship, the MSC Seashore, at the end of May. And it was absolutely beautiful. This water park is very, very similar as well. So if you have kids or grandkids, or you want to do some multi-generational travel, highly recommend this seaside class, which is the Seascape as well as Seashore. These are just an absolute riot. Let's see if I can find the slide here. I think it's actually behind where this picture is taken. Okay. But one of these slides is actually a virtual reality slide. Oh my God. It's a water slide, you get the tube, you sit in it, but they give you a set of goggles that are like snorkel goggles essentially, with the nose piece. So your nose isn't you're not gonna get water up your nose. Yeah. But it's got the big black VR thing. You put the mask on, and it's got a camera, so I can see like myself until I'm in the tube. And once I go down the slide, you're automatically brought into like this a whole different world. A whole different world. I can only describe it as like you're Peter Pan flying around a pirate ship, and you see one of these big this giant kraken. These tentacles are swiping for you, and as it's coming at you, you fly this way, but that's where the slide is taking you at the same time. So it feels like you're actually going along with the motion. It is an absolute riot that's not only your kids will enjoy, but
and are there different opportunities, like different shows in there that you could keep going and experience something new, or is it a set of thing?
There was I think 3 different ones.
Awesome.
three different shows
Mhm.
that they had in there. I only tried the one, but
Yeah.
from my understanding, there was three different ones that they do have in there.
Amazing.
So
Wow. That's
very
cool. That's
beautiful.
unheard of. That's really neat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And another unique feature about all of MSC Cruises, you'll
Mhm.
see these staircases.
Yes.
These are encased with Swarovski crystals.
Mm.
They're
Wow.
each one of these steps is approximately $13,000 US,
Oh my God.
and they're aboard all of our ships. It's one
Mhm.
of our signature staples. So
Yeah.
when it's formal night, you're all dressed up, you want an
Mhm.
amazing picture, then you have a great
Head
opportunity to
to
just stand on
there.
the
Yeah.
staircase, and it's absolutely
It
beautiful
is.
there. So
And you mean like every stair is 13, not
every
the whole
single step
case.
is
Wow.
$13,000. So it's
Amazing.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
again,
Big investment.
big investment, but it does pay off because it is absolutely stunning when you walk on board, and then you just kind of like, I don't want to say blinded by the lights, but you
Mhm.
got that real glitz and glamour kind of effect to it.
Yeah.
It is really really spectacular.
Wow. Mm,
To give
amazing.
you an idea for some of these seascape itineraries that we have coming out here,
Mhm.
we are stopping in Ocean Key as well on all of these itineraries. Beautiful
Right.
little spot there.
Mhm.
They are departing from Miami on Saturdays from December to April 2023.
Okay. Wow.
And of course, the Seascape is again, this is a brand new ship that we are
Mhm.
dedicating to the to the North American market, just to show
Mhm.
that MSC, we're not all about the Med. Of course, that's
Right.
where we're most known. That's where most of our ships are. But
Mhm.
we want to make sure that the North American market feels represented as well. So we're dedicating a ship to the North American market,
Wow.
and it's thematically styled after
Mhm.
New York City as well. So when
Oh,
you get on
okay.
board, there's like these little kind of touches that will remind
Yeah.
you of the Big Apple, and it's truly a beautiful little experience in there.
Oh, that's neat.
Moving right along, the MSC
Mhm.
Euribia. It's a floating piece of art. This is our first painted hull that we have coming in here, arriving in the June of 2023. And this one is going to be dedicated to Northern Europe, which I'll
Okay.
show right in here as well. So
Mm.
these are the itineraries where you get to see those giant sweeping fjords. If you have the opportunity, I would aim to go later in August, early September, if you
Mhm.
can. You're going to get a good showing of Northern Lights in around that time. Statistically
Mhm.
speaking, of course, can't guarantee anything,
Right.
but statistically speaking, that's when
Yes.
there
And
are the most.
those I still have not seen yet. Every time that I've been away, it's either been, too cloudy for them or it wasn't the right season due to holiday times and different stuff. And oh, I just want to go and see those.
Oh, I know.
Amazing.
I was spoiled. My previous job was with an Arctic cruise operator,
Oh,
and so I got to see a couple of them on the coast of Greenland and whatnot.
mhm.
It
They're
truly is. They
stunning.
truly are
Yes.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
amazing.
So Northern Europe is a beautiful location that we have. We're dedicating the MSC Euribia to, and
Yes.
very excited to see how this progresses.
And Norway would be, just an amazing,
Oh,
fascinating place to go. The history, the culture. Couldn't say the names of their cities to save my life, but it's still amazing.
that's the tricky part. I try and skim past those sometimes. We have, of course, Copenhagen's an easy one,
Yeah,
but
there you go.
Hellesylt,
Hmm.
Geiranger, and Flaum. I think
Okay.
some of those you have to kind of use more parts of your mouth than
Yeah.
than the typical Canadian is used to,
Right.
perhaps. But it's not only ships that we're innovating, but we're constantly looking for new itineraries as well.
Mhm.
This one in particular down here is one we're extremely excited about.
Mhm.
So this is throughout the Red Sea on the MSC Splendida, and our country manager was talking to the country manager in Italy,
Mhm.
and he was saying that this is the country manager in Italy who's been with the company for decades. He says this is the best itinerary we've ever put out, in his opinion.
Oh,
Just with the
okay.
amount that you see, the experiences that you get, the excursions
Mhm.
that you're able to participate in, it is absolutely life changing. He says, just with the amount of wonders of the world you get to
Yeah. Oh,
experience in this.
wow. Mhm.
You get you get to see Cairo, you get to see Jeddah. There's it's just an incredible itinerary that we have put together here. So
Mhm.
very very exciting for that.
Beautiful. And
Absolutely.
you're right, like that's just history. It's amazing. Yeah.
And that's what I love. History is just stories, right? And that's
Mhm.
like I'm a passionate storyteller, a passionate story absorber. I love listening to finding out new things, little bits of
Mhm.
trivia that objectively might not have a whole lot of use in my day-to-day life, but it's just so fascinating. And that's what you get through travel, right? You get that kind of immersive experience to be like, okay, I feel like a changed person now because I've experienced this. So
Oh, great.
it's
Yeah, and
very
that's
unique.
travel. That's why we travel.
That's why
Yeah,
we travel.
absolutely. Mhm.
Absolutely. So MSC Cruises, we do things a little bit differently when it comes to
Mhm.
booking your cabin. I know in the interest of time, I won't go through each and every little point here.
Okay.
I'll touch on maybe some of these green ones right here. So we have 4 different cabin types you can book through. I know there's only
Mhm.
3 here because I'll touch on the other one in a minute. We have our Bella,
Mhm.
Fantastica, and Aurea.
Okay.
Statistically speaking, Canadians go for Fantastica. I think it's between 60 to 70% of our
Mhm.
bookings are in the Fantastica category, just because of those inclusions that you get. You get a little bit of that extra safety as well. I guess maybe not safety is the right word, but that little bit of autonomy, a little bit of control. You can
Okay.
pick your own cabin, pick your own
Mhm.
size. Whereas Bella, you can pick your cabin type. So
Right.
like if you want a balcony, you'll get a balcony. If you want
Mhm.
a ocean view, you get that inside, sure. But we will essentially assign where you get to
Assign your
go for that.
cabin. Right.
Certainly. So
Yeah. Yeah,
Fantastica,
I'll agree.
again,
I always like choosing my location because I'm always midship. Sometimes my stomach just doesn't like all the rocking, and the midship really helps with that. And just being the flexibility to be able to choose your own. I can understand why people would do that.
certainly
Yeah.
for the seasoned traveler, someone who just wants to get away. I don't care. Just
Mhm.
get me on a boat, on a ship. Sorry, I
Ship.
called it a boat. Oh my goodness, I
Mhm.
slapped my hand. So the Bella could be just fine for that, but the Fantastica just has that extra little bit of like you're saying, pick your own cabin category.
Right.
You get 1 free cruise change as well, which
Mhm.
is very, very handy because you never know what could happen with life.
Yeah.
And that's why we always say get trip insurance. Touch on that in a
Yes,
minute here as well. But of course, you'll be
absolutely.
the great resource on that, Kathleen,
Mhm. Mhm.
providing your clients that
Yeah,
little
it's
bit of relief.
invaluable. It's yeah.
You
It
don't
makes
need
a
it till you
difference.
need it, but when you need it, you need it. It's
Absolutely.
it's a big, big deal,
Yeah.
certainly. And finally, our Aurea package, Aurea style. It's just that extra little bit of bouginess. Is that a good word for it?
Mhm.
Where you get things like a welcome package with some prosecco and our Venki chocolate. Oh my gosh, it is
Mhm.
absolutely unreal.
Yeah.
The ships that we do have the Venki bar on board. You get to watch the chocolatiers making the chocolate right then and there,
Nice.
boxed up and then ready to go for you as well. It's
Ah,
absolutely incredible.
that would not be good for my waistline, but it would still be delicious.
No, no, no. Cruising in general, I think,
There you
is
go.
it's tough. It's tough to come back a pound or two later when you go
Mhm.
on some of these cruises. But hey, that's part of the fun. I always say calories don't count on vacation, so
No.
let's just go
And you
have
get to
fun with it.
experience different foods and different things that you wouldn't make at home. So a chocolatier watching it make, I'm watching them do it. I'm all there. That would be
Yep.
great.
And
Yeah.
I'd rather try that than grab something in the grocery store
Yeah.
aisle on my way out kind of thing. So
Yeah. The
I'm not a
authentic
huge
food.
dessert person either,
Mhm.
but this chocolate was absolutely unreal. So I
Yeah.
had to bring some home to the wife, and I even ended up picking 1 or 2 out of there too.
Oh,
Speaking
good.
of slap my hand, but
Yeah. Oh no, it's
it
fine.
was too good not to.
She'd share, I'm sure. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And the Audio package focuses more on like the spa experiences as well. So if you're
Right.
going for that ultimate sense of relaxation,
Mhm.
the Audio cabins are typically placed within proximity to the spas themselves,
Oh, good.
just to give that extra little bit of just relaxation
The
and luxury. And
pampering and yeah, yeah. And I
absolutely,
see you get priority boarding, which is always nice to have. You don't need to worry about waiting in those long lines. So that's a great package that's there. Yeah.
absolutely,
Mhm.
the options there are absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
Just to give you an idea as to what some of these cabins look like, here's some. This is more for like the family. I wanted to put
Yeah.
these in here just to
Sure.
show the versatility of some of our cabins that we have here. This is a
Mhm.
couch that folds down into a bunk bed right here as well. So if you
I've
have little
never
ones
seen
that you're traveling with,
that.
it was amazing when I saw it. I was like,
Yeah.
well, really? But throughout the day, they'll turn that back into a couch, and then at night they'll lift it up, get her going, or you can keep it as is throughout the course of
Mhm.
the week. You just have to request that and request your whatever you'd like in here.
Yeah.
But as well, we have the couches that just turn into a cot as well.
Mhm.
Doesn't necessarily all of them don't have the bunk bed feature. You need to request that, but
Right. Yes.
some of these other beds do have the ability to just turn into a regular cot. For
Mhm.
interior cabins, we have some of these fold down berths that you can see right here to get the young ones up, and or people you're traveling with. Doesn't have to be young, as long as you
Yeah.
are comfortable sleeping on the top bunk of a bunk bed.
There you go.
So
Yeah.
it's something for everyone in here. And
Yes.
here's some of our Aurea cabins. I just had to do a little Where's Waldo of myself down here just to show
Mhm.
it was me taking these pictures.
Yeah, it's hard when there's mirrors involved to get that right
Absolutely.
shot. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then, so this is another example. If you have a larger family, this will accommodate a family of 5, no problem. We got the bunk
Oh,
beds as
wow.
well as that cot back there as well.
Yeah,
The
that
Oria
looks like,
cabins.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. That looks like
Oh
a
yeah,
very nice long room too.
very much so.
Wow.
The rooms are quite spacious,
Very
especially
spacious.
on our newer ships.
Mhm.
We're just kind of building things with that extra little bit of leg room, so to speak. And with the Oria class cabin, you do get some walk-in closet potential as well in there if you do have, a couple. If you're going for a longer trip, especially,
Mhm.
that extra little bit of space can be absolutely invaluable.
Yes.
The MSC Yacht Club is another
Mhm.
amazing experience that we have here. It is our top tier. It's a cliche term, but it truly does feel like a ship within a ship experience.
Mhm.
You get your own section of the ship, you get your own private concierge, you get butler service, your own dedicated exclusive restaurants. You still have all of the amenities with the rest of the ship, but
Right.
you do need to have your special access card, or we have the wristband option as well to be able
Mhm.
to get into your own private area of the ship that are
Yeah,
truly,
great.
truly beautiful experiences.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm seeing
can't
some
say
of the
enough.
lounges and some of the areas there. That's really nice. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely.
And
Now,
they
if
have
all of
their
this,
own pool
oh,
as
sorry.
well? I see a pool there. Is that specifically for the yacht club?
Yep.
Yep.
All yacht clubs have their own dedicated pool, their own whirlpools as well. They even have their own events that they have that go on
Oh,
for
wow.
things like they might have a movie showing, or they may have their own private, magic show or
Mhm.
performance, or some of those that do occur. Their own parties that they have as
Mhm.
well. It's a truly unique experience. Again, with all of the extra amenities of the
Right.
rest of the ship available to you as well.
Mhm. Nice.
Now, if all of that sounds great, but
Mhm.
you know what? I'm dedicated to this cruise line because I've spent so much time in accumulating all of these points. I get this when I get on board because I'm at,
Mhm.
diamond or emerald or Pinnacle status.
Right.
We have the opportunity for guests to have their own status with their
Mhm.
own cruise line, hotel chain, tour operator. We will match that status for their first cruise, just to say thank you for trying us out. We know you're used to this kind of experience, so we're going to match that
Yeah.
with what we have is available here to you as well. So
That's
it's
great.
yeah, it's just a great little opportunity to say, you know what, MSC, I want to give them a shot. Let's try it.
Yeah.
So you take your status match, you
Mhm.
sign in through our or give it to your to you, Kathleen. You
Yes.
then coordinate with our inside sales team, and they get you matched up in there as well.
Wonderful.
Now, a big trend these days is last minute booking. However,
Mhm.
we're trying to entice people into booking a little bit further in advance.
Yes.
So with our Voyagers program, which
Mhm.
is our membership program essentially,
Okay.
we don't go by nights sailed, we go by points. And the
Okay.
points are all different based on the experience you book. So if you book Bella, it's one amount. If you book
Mhm.
Yacht Club, that's a different amount. As
Mhm.
well, if you book more than 12 months before your cruise departure, you get
Yes.
double those points of whatever you're
Okay.
booking.
Yeah.
So it is a way to just kind of like, yes, a year
Probably
away is a
very
long time in
fast.
advance, but it didn't really used to be. But
Mhm.
over the last couple of years, especially, it seems like things are moving towards the last minute side of
Mhm.
things. So this is our way of saying, yep, come on
Yeah.
board. Let's
Yeah,
go as
we'll
far as
we'll
it.
give you an incentive to book further out. Yeah.
That's right.
I personally love booking further out just simply because of the availability. You can then choose the room that you want. Is it near an elevator? Is it not? And you can pick and choose as opposed to, well, I'm sorry, all we've got is one way at the after. I know that you have problems walking, but you're going to walk 5 minutes after you get off the elevator. So, but if you book early, you don't have that issue. You can have your pick of the ship essentially. And it's a great way to do it. And typically the prices are the lowest when it first comes out. So if you're a budget traveler, booking early is the way to go.
100%. Couldn't agree with you
Mhm.
more. It's all
Yeah,
it's all there. Further out, more autonomy, more choices, more power.
right.
Your dollar goes a lot further that way.
And I see that you give a little bit of a discount as well with the booking early. Is that 5%? Is that right?
5% plus 5% discount. Correct.
Okay.
And that's for both more than 12 months as well as up to 12 months before departure, as well as we get some onboard credit on that as well.
Okay. So what is that? 50 pounds? Yeah, I'm
Oh,
not good
sorry,
at
50
math.
euro or 50
Euro?
USD. depending
Okay.
on where you sail to. So within within North America, the Caribbean,
Mhm.
the ship operates in US dollar.
Okay.
Everywhere else in the world operates in the euro.
Okay.
Um, just for, yeah, sorry, I should have mentioned that probably
Simplicity's sake.
previously.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
wherever you're booking, that's the amount of credit that you will be getting on board.
Okay.
So I'll touch on some health and safety aspects. Of course, this is an ever-evolving beast right now. So
Mhm.
if whatever information I put up, it could change by this afternoon,
It
just
does.
depending
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
everything with the constant
Be sure to
evolution of the
check
world.
with me. Yeah, and we'll let you know what's going on right now.
Yep, Kathleen will keep you in the loop as far as
Mhm.
what you need. So from us, what you need in order to travel, we do still require full vaccination,
Mhm.
as well as an antigen test or a
Okay.
PCR test. It used to be 2 days before departure, but just over the last I think it was 2 weeks ago, we just got some new updates. It's
Okay.
now 3 days
3 days.
prior to
Okay.
departure.
Mhm.
Now that's up until the day. It's not like 72 hours from your, say the ship departs at 5 p.m. So I need to get it by, you know, I
Yeah.
have to go at
Hmm.
5:01 at the earliest kind of thing.
Oh, that was such a
It's three
nightmare at
days.
the beginning to time it like that.
Oh
Goodness.
my gosh. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was very stressful from my understanding. So it's
Hmm.
yeah, we're trying to make it as nice and possible, and easing restrictions and easing things as the world gets a little bit safer, I guess you could say, as far as
Hmm.
um, numbers and stats and all of
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
we we were a big um, I don't want to say guinea pig, because we kind of took the initiative with a lot of our standards and a lot of our protocols that we have on board. We had stringent health and safety protocols that were recognized by both Italian, European, and North American authorities. We were the first back in the water in August of 2020, taking a brief break in December, and then getting back in February of 2021. And we've
Hmm.
been sailing ever since then, because we were awarded the BioSafe Award from RENA, which is a European governing body
Hmm.
when it comes to health and safety. So
And that's
we
a great
didn't
honor. Hmm.
absolutely, it was,
Yes.
and a lot of other, from my understanding, from what I've heard through the
Hmm.
grapevines, a lot of other ships and cruise lines were kind of watching what happened with us before they
Oh,
either took on their own protocols, or did something similar to what we were doing. So
oh,
it
that's
was, of course, a risk, but it was a very, very calculated risk because of the
wonderful.
amount of research we did ahead of time there as well.
Mhm. And it's good that you took the lead on that, because that shows that, you're doing all that research and all that work, and you're making sure that your clients are still safe, or your passengers. I'm sorry. They're my
Absolutely.
clients, your passengers. Yeah, but they're still
Yeah, yeah.
safe and they're still well taken care of. So that's wonderful.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, we're constantly monitoring. Masks are recommended but not mandatory
Mhm.
throughout. All of our staff do wear masks on board.
Mhm.
Insurance now is also recommended but not mandatory.
Okay.
Although personally, this is my own personal opinion, I
Yes.
think it should be mandatory travel insurance.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, so who we operate through is To Go. Of
Mhm.
course, Kathleen, you can.
Yes, I have the
I'm sure you'll
companies
have
that
some
I've.
different options as well there.
Mhm.
Who we recommend, who we sell through,
Okay.
is To Go, because of their all-inclusive holiday package that we see right
Mhm.
here. That's what we recommend. So that can
Yes.
be kind of like a benchmark. Even if you're using your own insurance,
Mhm.
maybe have a look at To Go and just see what that all-inclusive holiday
Yeah.
package entails. And
Mhm.
that's essentially what we highly recommend, because of
Yes.
just because of what is included in that. So
Mhm. And sometimes those all-inclusive packages are a much better value of just getting the cancellation, because I priced them
oh,
out and it's like, okay, the all-inclusive for a family of four is $25 more than just cancellation, but you're also getting all the medical, all the baggage, all that kind of stuff. And
yeah,
yeah,
any
it's
kind of,
worth it.
cancellation, trip interruption and trip cancellation, of course, are two different things.
Two
So it's
different
like
things. Yep. And
those
this is why we had to take classes in these things, because it's just not easy. So
exactly, to the
yeah.
uninitiated, or those who maybe don't travel very often. A lot
Mhm.
of that can be confusing. So go see Kathleen to get that
Yeah.
spelled out for you there.
That's right. I mean, that's why we take all that accreditation classes and we do all those things. So, but
100%.
anyway, I'm sorry.
Absolutely. We're getting towards the end here, so thank you so much
Sorry.
for bearing with. I know it's. I'm looking at my timer here. I'm like, holy smokes, we've been talking for a while now. So I'll try and be a little bit
We'll
more
move on.
conscientious of my anecdotes. but we in the Canadian office have developed our flying cruise program just because of how successful it's been in Europe.
Mhm.
And again, because the Canadian market is a little bit different than the US market. US
Right.
has a lot of centers in which they can draw from. Whereas Canada, we're statistically, most of the population is within, I think it's 100 miles of the US border.
Mhm.
So we have some great flying cruise programs that we are continuing to develop as well. Right now, the main one we have established is through Montreal, but we
Mhm.
are getting Toronto very soon, I've been
Yeah.
assured.
Mhm.
It's just in the contracting phase right now, and some back and forth going on.
Yep.
But it is coming to Toronto. We have some other
Mhm.
regions that we're currently exploring and currently looking to as well, in order to get more folks from more parts of Canada to be able
Mhm.
to come down and experience some holiday packages that we have here. And that includes our MSC Lyrica stay and cruise with flight that we
Mm.
have currently operating. I think some of them have already left, so it's
Mhm.
fairly last minute, but I want to keep this in here because we're going to be doing something very, very similar to this very, very soon as well.
Yes. Awesome.
And again, some benefits are MSC Cruises. We know exactly where the guests are at all times. So it's
Mhm.
not like, if you fly in with another cruise line, or sorry, another airline, it gets delayed. Where's the guests? I don't know. Let's go. Whereas
Yeah.
if like we know exactly where those guests are because we're
Mhm.
tracking that flight, we're tracking that in and
Yes.
amongst, like in line with the departure as well. So
And with everything going on with all the flights, that's a really, really good thing to have.
it's a
Yeah.
huge feature for sure. And of course,
Mhm.
luggage is included in that as well.
Right.
Same as any other typical airline, 50 pounds, 23 kilos in and around there.
Mhm.
So it's, yeah, we're very, very excited about the things, about
Mm.
some of these initiatives that we have coming up here. So I'll just kind of breeze through these a little bit
Sure.
here, just to show off some of these itineraries. So from
Mhm.
Montreal, you fly down to Martinique, to the Antilles area of the Caribbean. Start in Fort-de-France and then work your way up throughout this incredible itinerary here, hitting up several islands. I love the Caribbean.
Mhm.
I truly do think it's one of the most beautiful, interesting,
Yeah,
homey
it's
places on
stunning.
earth.
It's
So
so nice. Yeah.
absolutely. So it's this is a great opportunity to see some of the popular ones, as well as some of the ones that aren't quite on as many itineraries
Yeah.
in North American market here.
Right.
Another one that we have in here as well is this one also to this one also flies into Fort-de-France and then works its way through some different itineraries. Sorry, some different ports in here.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
It is. Yeah. Wow. And I see that there's a lot of, winter and fall dates, winter and spring dates. And a lot of people think of just the Caribbean for escaping our winter, which, well, that's fabulous and that's great. When you're there in the summer, it's really not that much different with the temperature. So there's no reason not to go in the summer as well. You've
Yeah,
still got those ocean breezes and the temperature is maybe 2 degrees difference. It's really
yeah.
not huge. So
It's
yeah.
pretty stagnant throughout the year as far as low to mid 30s
Hmm.
in Celsius there for the most part. You're going to get some high 20s. You're going to get some the odd bit of rain here and there, but
Hmm.
that's year round pretty much, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yes. It's amazing.
Yeah. We have our repositioning cruise here as well that
Okay.
departs on April 8th in 2023.
Hmm.
And this is a great, so this is an open jaw experience, as I was talking about, where you start and end in a
Right.
different place.
Hmm.
But the flights that we have included in this, they drop you off in Fort-de-France, and then you fly from Port Canaveral. And of course, Port Canaveral is right by the Orlando theme parks. I think it's
Hmm.
within, I think it's like a 35 to 40-minute drive
Hmm.
from the airport to the
Right.
to Port Canaveral itself. So,
Yes.
spending an extra night, an extra day or two, going to see some of the theme parks in
Hmm.
Orlando, it's a great little opportunity to, especially for multi-generational travel.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's pretty unique there. So
Yes.
very, very exciting. And last but not least, with our current flying cruise, oh, sorry, not really last but not least, sort of last but not least, but
Sure.
from Toronto, the only thing we
Mhm.
have 100% from Toronto right now is to go on our brand new World Europa in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Qatar.
Mm.
You can see the itinerary if you maybe squint down here. You fly into
Mhm.
Dubai and then get to see all of these incredible locations down here on our newest ship. This is,
Mhm.
and you're flying with Emirates as well. And with
Okay.
packages starting at $2,365,
Mhm.
you,
And that
it's
includes
difficult to get air.
everything. Yeah.
It's difficult to get air for under $3,000 when it comes to getting over here. And
Yeah.
so with air included in that, it's a very, very
Wow.
very, very aggressive price that we've negotiated pretty strong. So.
And that's everything. Like you don't need a single thing more. That's like your transfer, that's your air, that's your entire cruise, your food, entertainment. Amazing. That's really good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's great pricing for, for the product. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And last but not least, our Fly, Stay, and Cruise program that we're going to be doing some more of these as well, just because of the, it just, if you're flying all the way over there, why not spend an extra couple of nights and see some, have a different experience.
Yes.
So this one flies into Athens. You get that night at the hotel, 4-star hotel, whatever you want to do. It's your evening. The next day, you get a guided tour of Athens. We're doing a step-on guided tour where we're going to see some of those highlights. It's if you're going to Athens, of course, you have to see some of these big highlights. There's the Pantheon up there, and it's you got to see some of those sites and get some of that history that we were talking about while you're there.
Absolutely.
And of course, breakfast is included in both of those mornings that you're going to be waking up there, as well as the transfers from the hotel to the cruise terminal, and then from the cruise terminal to the airport afterwards as well. It's a great experience aboard a beautiful ship as well. The MSC Lyrica is a very, very one of the favorites, I'll say, for our experienced cruisers. So
with good reason. I mean, it's got everything you need. It's amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So last but not least, we'll talk about some of the promotions that we have in here going on. So currently we are running our balcony upgrade sale, which is if you are, say you're, I like inside cruising. It's the cheapest way to travel. Maybe an ocean view, you get to see a little bit of something else. This is an opportunity for people to try a balcony because I grew up cruising in inside cabins. That's the way my folks did it. They said, you're never in your cabin anyways. Let's just get inside and, go to, we're going to shows, we're going to the pool, we're going on excursions. We don't need to stay in a balcony. Once I had my own family, had my kids, we splurged. We went on a big family cruise. We got a balcony, and that extra little bit of space out there, especially if you have little ones, our son was able to nap, and we could just hang out on the balcony for a little while or take turns. You probably can't see in the camera, but I'm pretty pale, so I needed my my chill time, but I didn't necessarily want to stay in the room. I could just sit on the balcony. I brought out a book, I brought out a drink, and just absolutely just loved watching the waves go by. And at night too, when you open the door, day's done, you're sailing in the darkness of the sea. It's just like this magical kind of aura about it. That's really, really unique. So
I love to sit out there as we're pulling into port and just watch us pulling in. And sometimes I put it on the GoPro and I post it for everybody to see, but it's still like, it's just stunning. Or you just sit there and sip on my hot chocolate and enjoy breakfast or something. Oh, you can't beat a balcony.
Oh, with the breakfast too, and just sitting out there with that if you get it delivered in the morning. Oh, it's absolutely incredible. I pro tip, bring binoculars as well if you get a balcony cabin, because just seeing the sights, as you're saying, when you're pulling into port, you get to see some of these spots throughout the islands. It's absolutely it's very, very fun.
I actually don't use binoculars. I have a camera with a 300 zoom lens, and it's
that'll do it. That'll do
it. So it's like, oh, what does that say? You kind of zoom in, and it's amazing. Yeah. But no, I absolutely love a balcony there. I don't think I'd ever go to an inside room just because I just love sitting out there.
It is hard to go back after that. I fully agree. So as you can see here, it's valid with cruise only and flying cruise programs as well. And so here is the breakdown of what you get when it comes to onboard credit with that. Just depends on the amount of nights as well as the type you get as well there. So
great.
That's our balcony upgrade promotion for onboard bookings. This is fairly standard across, this isn't anything exclusive to MSC, but just to give your guests and your clients an idea as to what you can get if you book on board. If you book an inside cabin, $50, all the way up to $200 for an MSC Yacht Club experience for future cruise onboard credit.
Yeah, great.
This is an exciting one as well. And this is our last slide, I promise. So this is our single supplement promotion, where you can save 80% off of your single supplement. So solo travel is so popular these days.
It is.
My mom, we lost my father a couple of years ago, and my mom's always been like I don't like I don't have anyone to go with. Things
Yeah.
like this are a
Mhm.
great opportunity for people like her who have,
It-
either don't have a traveling partner, don't want
mhm,
a traveling partner,
mhm.
or just want to be able to
Yeah.
do their own thing.
Yeah.
And so
Mhm.
our no single, or sorry, not no single supplement, 80% off single supplements is a
Right.
great opportunity for folks to
It
experience
certainly
it.
is, yeah. And there's no reason if you're, single, not by choice or by choice, you still should be able to see the world and to explore. And I think deals like this make it so beneficial to be able to get away.
A lot more accessible for sure.
Yes.
So it's one we've got a lot of positive feedback on from our clients.
Mhm.
So and
Great,
that's valid for summer 2022 as well as winter 2023.
great. Yeah.
All of those bookings. So
Mhm.
and that's it. Whew.
Well, thank you so much for putting all that together. I certainly enjoyed sitting here and chatting with you, and I hope all my viewers really enjoyed it as well. I'll be sure to meet with you again the next time I'm scheduling. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I hope you all have a great week. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's cruise chat with Patrick from MSC. It was really, really nice to meet with a brand new cruise line. I love doing that. This was our first time with MSC. So I just love meeting with new cruise lines and learning all about them and to see what they have to offer. And I think that's super great. I really enjoyed seeing some of their fly-in itineraries. Some of those prices were just fabulous, weren't they? With being able to have everything, like it is an all-inclusive price, including the flights, especially when you're thinking of where they're flying to Abu Dhabi. Sometimes the flights are just a crazy price. So it's amazing to see the pricing that they offered. Next week, I'm going to be meeting with Carl with Silver Sea, and we're going to be going over some of their itineraries as well. And I just love meeting with Carl because he's in charge of the expedition cruising with Silver Sea. So he really knows the expedition. And expedition cruising is so different than your standard cruising with those big ocean liners. The expedition ships really get you so close. So make sure you tune in next week. Make sure also that you're subscribed to our channel. That way you can see when new videos come out. And remember, with this video with Patrick, I have it all on podcast as well. So head on over to Cruising the Waves podcast if you want to listen to any of our episodes on the go. Be sure to send me a message, info@planetsunshinetravel.com, if you'd like any more information on this or any of our other cruise chats. Thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you all next week. Have a great week. Bye.